for the football. This for the football. For the city and them back roads. Got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the football.
Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah. So let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva. Them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewell got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they no defeating no dragons who run the whole city, you wildin'. And they really bout it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And kinda got flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the football. This for the football. This for the football.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Sam Torres here, the 440 Sports Show, and I am here with a face that I'm sure most of you guys know already, Mr. Jarrod Bunch, jumping on the show. He's got some big events coming up this weekend that I'm very, very excited about. One of the things we talk about are the opportunities that we're trying to create for youth in this area, and Jarrod Bunch, with all of his success, is coming back to the home front, producing some opportunities for some young people right here in the county. Before I go too far into that, let me introduce you guys who don't know him to Jarrod Bunch. Jarrod, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from Ashtabula, graduated from Ashtabula High School in 1986. Went on to get a full scholarship at the University of Michigan, where I was the captain of the football team my 5th year. I graduated in 4 years, played my 5th year as a graduate student, went on to be a first-round draft choice of New York Giants, and played 5 years in NFL before an injury that made me have to stop and give it up. But I'm right there from my first opportunity to play football was Ashtabula Midget Football League. I was a part of that the second year that it was in existence, and I was on the team. Our first team was the Colts with Earl Johnson, and then I went to the Browns, which was the first time that a team in the league went 10-0. We went 9-0 one year and 10-0 the next year. That's my claim to fame with the Midget League football.
Yeah, one of the and this is something, folks, this is completely unscripted, I promise you. Jarrod, we share, I know it's not that hard to believe, but we share a football coach here at Ashtabula, because as I was a midget league football player, I played for the Colts at one time, but I also played for the Jets, and my head coach of the Jets was none other than Earl Johnson as well. So, yes, so that my ears just perked up when you talked about Coach Earl Johnson. He's one of the first football coaches I can remember. So how awesome that is. And, you're a 1986 graduate. I took plenty of laps. Outstanding. But it really is, and you're a 1986 graduate of Ashtabula High School, and you've had a ton of success, playing at a Division I level. At this time, I think the last statistics we've seen, right around just about 7%, and not at Division I, but in college in general, for anybody getting to play their sport in college. So it's a really, really hard hurdle to go. And for you to play on one of the biggest programs in one of the biggest, and in my opinion, best conferences in college football, taking that onto an NFL career, just from this small time in Ashtabula. But, it all started with a young man playing midget league football, which has, played such a huge part. And, your camp actually kind of focuses on that age group, that youth group. One of the things I'd like to get your perspective on is how important those years of youth football really are.
it is so important. And I have two things to really push and talk about. And that is my football starting with Midget League. Well, I started playing on the streets. I was the youngest on my street. I have an older brother, and I used to try to hang with my older brother and all his buddies on the street. So I played street football, tap and all that other stuff with the older guys, which got me to a place when I played against guys my own age, I was a little more advanced. So when I got into Little League and played, I still was not the player that I thought I could be or would be. I was on the Colts. We talked about, the Colts back then, Coach Johnson. And even back then, they had a varsity team and a junior varsity. And I played on the junior varsity team with the guys my age. I did very well. But when I tried to play on the varsity, it was not the same. And I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing, how to do it. And learning those fundamentals is what was the most important thing that helped my development. And that's why the way I run my camp is called fundamentals. So we're trying to have fun by actually going through the fundamentals and making it so that it will stick in your head. So the first thing they're going to do when they get there is warm up, and then we're playing football. We're playing flag football right away. And then we'll go into drills, position drills and all that to show you, hey, this is how you can do that better. This is how you can do this better. This is why we teach you this. They learn, why are we going through this drill? Well, you remember when you played in the game and you went for this and you did this or you tried to do this? This drill will help you do that better. After we go through the drills, we go take a break, and then we'll go back to playing games after them learning and now putting into effect and putting into place and trying to use the drills that they just learned into game situations. So that's the way I've set it up, and that's the way we're going to do it.
Yeah, that's really it's a great way to kind of approach it. I think that sometimes, especially in this era, the era of Instagram, YouTube, everybody's a star. Everybody gets as much exposure as they possibly can. The more clicks you get, the better. But there's a portion of fun that is missing from the training purposes. And I believe wholeheartedly that you can't progress in a game, at least to the professional level, if you don't love it. You got to develop a love for the game. Another thing that we see out there, and I hold in high regard with football, is the ability to take the things that happen in football and apply them to your life. So, these young men and young women and anybody getting involved in football, there are some lessons that they can take from participating in camps, from playing in the games, that are going to apply to their everyday life. How did that work for you when it came to making decisions or, keeping yourself on track? Because you definitely had to do that.
Well, it started off with Midget League football and started off with working with coaches like Jarrod Johnson, who gave you what I call a lot of deferred gratification. You had to learn to do things that were going to make you better in the future, but at that current time, you didn't understand it. Like take a lap, running laps. All the times we had to run those laps, we got into shape. I mean, that made us get into shape. And it was that type of thinking that I took into the classroom when I was in elementary school, junior high, high school, all the way into college, and then into my professional life, just regular being a business person. It all was helpful. Thinking that I have to do something now in order to get something accomplished later. And that doesn't mean that I get instant gratification about what I'm doing right now. And the Instagram is right in it's right in the word, Instagram. That's, you get it instantaneously. And life does not always happen like that. You don't have the luxury of getting everything instant. It takes a little bit of time. And football is something that you have to use deferred gratification with. It's about a team sport. And then in life, when you have to get a job, you start working, or you own your own business, you start doing things, you have to know how to work a team. You can't do it by yourself. You can do it to a certain degree, but you can always make it better. And making it better means you got other people working with you, and you got to learn how to work with other people. You have to learn how to help other people help you. And football is the perfect team sport. You can use it for all different things, and that's why when I come back and I do these camps, I try to show the kids that it's a possibility that you can do it too, but it's going to take work. And what I've been seeing, not only in Ashtabula and Ohio, but I was the head coach at Beverly Hills High School, and it was the same thing. It reminded me of Ashtabula High School when I was in high school. You kids, if you're not taught, it's not going to happen. And so you have to have people in your life that can show you pathways that benefit you. And I'm glad that football was something that was put in my path at an early age.
Yeah, and I think that's one of my favorite things about the sport of football. It's one of the reasons why I fell in love with football myself. I think it makes young people understand the group concept in a very tangible way. But it also, like you said, it makes you work for something because you're not getting everything right now. You are not the fastest, the strongest, the best tackler, the best runner. You're not that way the first time you put on cleats, and you're darn sure not that way the first time you pick up a football. It's something you have to work for. And you're a perfect example of that. You came from a small town and I don't think people understand, back in that time, not that it was so ancient away, but there was kind of a but there was a difference. There was a different amount that you had to do to kind of get noticed in an area like Ashtabula. And I think that's where these kids really can take a lot from, what your work ethic was and what it took to get Jarrod Bunch on the radar of a team like a Michigan, of a team like anybody.
That's true. Listen, there's been you can't tell me a person, I think, that has gotten a full scholarship to a D1 school from Ashtabula. I think Walsh Lyons was I don't know if he went to a D1 school. I think he went to Baldwin Wall or somewhere. But he is the last one before me that got a full scholarship to even a close D1 school. I don't know if he went to a D1 school, but he got a full scholarship. But I had a goal before I even got into high school that I was going to get a D1 scholarship, a Division I scholarship. I was going to a Big Ten school. And I had a lot of people now today probably don't know this, but there weren't a lot of people in Ashtabula that thought I was going to make it to a D1 school or thought I was good enough. A lot of people didn't think I was good enough. A lot of people thought, oh yeah, he might be good here, but I don't know if he'll make it there. I was told this. It wasn't like they even tried to keep it a secret. They told me this. I was told by a teacher once that, I would rather be a big fish in a small pond than a little fish in a big pond. And I said, well, that's you, not me. Well, I would rather go to a big school. That's, and I was encouraged to go to a smaller school. And I was like, no, I'm going to a Big Ten school. And it was because they hadn't seen it. They had not seen it. And I don't know if people knew this, but when I was in the 8th grade, Ashtabula High School won their first game in 5 years. They were 0-10 every year. And when I was in the 8th grade, my brother was in the 10th grade. They won their first game. And I think they won like 3 or 4 games that year. I got in the 9th grade that they won, I don't know, a few games. But as a sophomore, I started both ways. I even made second team all county and second team all league as a defensive back, strong safety. But I played both ways. Led the team in rushing as a sophomore. and so in my junior year, I played running back and nose. I played nose guard. I played running back and nose tackle, defensive line. And then my senior year, I played running back and inside linebacker, defensive. I played every position on defense. And my senior year, we won 2 games. We won the first 2 games. We lost the next 8. I got injured and broke my wrist in the 8th game, so I didn't even finish. I only played 8 games my senior year. Junior year, we won 3 games or 4 games. But I wasn't on. So when I was on the team, it was not some big time superpower. We won a couple games. The reason why people knew about me is because I played so many different positions and I was big, strong, and fast. I also was in track. And the biggest thing was that I was a good student. I had a 3.0, and that's what people would always recognize, is that's what the schools look for. They want to know what type of character the person is. If you're a good player, that's great. But if you're a bad person off the field, they don't want to have anything to do with you because you're not helping their school better. And when you go to college, coaches don't want to have to be babysitting. They want to know that you're a young adult and you can go do things on your own without them having to hold your hand. And so that starts in junior high. It starts in elementary school. Even if it's to start off in the wrong way, there's always a way that you can get back into focus. But I always say, try to start it off early as possible. And as long as we can do that and get them in the right direction, start in the right direction, if they get off, they can always get back on. That's what I'm trying to make sure happens, is that they can't say that they never had the chance or they never had anybody tell them what to do or how to do.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I think is continuously, and it's amazing that it really is still overlooked because, there are examples of phenomenal athletes, 4'4" guys who can bench press 225 500 times and lift a F-150 in a squat. But, they don't take into account it's the grades. It's what you're doing off the field. It's your dependability. And I think a lot of those things, like you just said, I think you really kind of encompassed it perfectly. You begin those at the youth level, becoming dependable, understanding how much these sort of things matter. And even if you don't have it down when you're 8, 9 years old, you can still work on that. But it's really understanding the importance of these things. And, I always tell people, you're one of my favorite examples. There are guys, it's a small area here in the 440. You have to work for absolutely everything you got, but there are guys who've done it. The Jarrod Bunches of the world, the Sean Allgoods, the Matt Hatchett's. If you work hard, you have to work hard because these guys are better athletes than this area has ever seen. And you see how hard you guys had to work.
Yeah, but we worked for it. We work for it. But I mean, here, the truth is you're blessed also. I mean, I was blessed. I'm tall. My parents are not small people, so I'm a big person. And I had the frame to start off with. Okay, but you're absolutely correct that we worked for it. So like I say, you have to given whatever you have, you must do everything you can to make sure that you are putting yourself in a position that you have a chance. That's it. You have to put yourself in a position to have a chance. If you say, "Oh, I'm not doing that because I can't," well, hey, nope, you're right. You're not going to do it. If you ain't trying, you're not going to do it. You said it. But if you say, "Look, I have a chance. As long as I do this, I have a chance. I have a chance." Keep saying that. Now, listen, one of the things that I did, I have to give some props to a few people, and that was Kaiser Holman, Mark and Max Holman, and their father. When I was growing up, they used to work out all the time. And when I was started my sophomore year, their father, Mark and Max Holman, Kaiser's Holman's father, started training me. And the way he trained me was doing pull-ups and push-ups and all that. So starting when I was a freshman, I did push-ups for 5 days a week, before I left the house and before I went to bed. 5 days a week for 4 years. That was part of and it was one of those things that they got me to start doing and said, look, you have to set things in place that you have to do in order to do. If you say, if I do this, I will accomplish this. That's the way I put it. Okay. So I could not miss. So if I forgot and went to bed and I would wake up in the middle, oh man, I forgot to do my push-ups. You know, it was that type of thing that I did. And I did that for 4 years. I started off, I was doing 20. It was one set, as many as you can do. When I first started off, I could do 20 push-ups. By the time after I graduated high school, before I left to go to Michigan, I still was doing it. I was doing 90 push-ups. Before I got to bed, 90 push-ups straight. Before I walked out, it was always before I walked out the house the next morning. So whatever, I could do it right when I got out of bed or whatever. But before I walked out, I had to do it. And I got from 20 to 90. And I'm saying that was a part of my thinking that if I did this, I would get that scholarship. If I didn't, if I missed it, that was my motivation. If I missed it, you're taking away the opportunity to get a scholarship. Yeah, so that was my motivation. And it helped. If you ever seen any pictures of me when I was 18, 17, I graduated at 17. We ever seen any pictures of me? Oh boy, that boy looked like a grown man.
I'll tell you what, that is 100% true, folks. I've seen the picture of him. This is the era. Jarrod got to play in what I've always referred to, and I'm very, very, I guess, biased to that era because I always call that the golden age of Ashtabula football because the athletes and the football, it was great. It was excitement in this area for Ashtabula. There was a real pride with playing in that time. Some of the guys that I look up to this day come from that era right now. But one of the things that you talked about, Jarrod, and I just want to touch on that too, for all the young, athletes who are watching this now or in the future, you talked about how, you played defensive back, you played nose tackle, you played offense, you played defense. And this is an era where I think so many kids are quick to specialize. And I am this and I am only this. But what I hear from you is not only commitment to the game and commitment to doing the push-ups and making sure you're doing it, but adaptability. How important is that for these young athletes to make sure that they are adaptable? Because that's how you succeed.
One thing that I am really disheartening that I've seen as being a head coach at a high school team is players thinking, if I'm the head coach to help you, and I tell you what's best for you, not just the team, what's best for you. Okay. I'm not here to not help you. I'm here to help you. It doesn't really, most of the time, it doesn't matter what position you play in high school. They just want to know that you're an athlete, that you can do a lot of different things. Because when you if you are blessed to get a scholarship, you probably are going to switch positions anyway. I switched positions. I mean, I went to Michigan as a running back. The first day I got there, they switched me to fullback. The year that I went to Michigan in 1986, we had the #1 recruiting class in the country. And we had a number of running backs that were Mr. Michigan, Mr. Louisiana, Mr. Florida, all that. All these guys came on there. A few of them remain running backs, but other ones switched to defensive backs, switched to linebackers. They switched everybody. I mean, So it doesn't really matter what position you play in high school, as long as you show that you are a good athlete and a good student. Good student. You'll see some guys that are ranked on these top 50 and whatever, they just have them listed as athlete, right? They got a lot of them as quarterback, running back, athlete, because they don't know what position they're going to play. They're good at a lot of different things, and when they get to college, it's like, okay, what position can we put him at the earliest that's going to help this team, right?
Yeah, I think these young athletes have to ask themselves a very easy question: are you in love with the position, or are you in love with the game? Because if you're in love with the game, you're going to find a way to play. You're going to find a way to play.
No, let's add another layer to that. Are you in love with what the game can do for you? Because if you want to play only running back, and running backs come a dime a dozen, but you could be a good defensive back, where a good defense, there's 4 positions at defensive back now. 4 positions now. What type of player are you? Can you play defensive back? And then, once you say that, look, we can play him at defensive back, or we can play him at running back. But if you just, I'm a running back. Okay, all right, go over there and sit down, wait, because the other guys, he's faster than you, or he's better than you, whatever. He's gonna be running, he's gonna be playing, and you're gonna be sitting on the sidelines. if they give you a chance to come to the school, don't get caught up in position. Get caught up in being the best athlete on the field. If you're, and for me, that was it. Okay, here, check this out. Another reason why I was so highly recruited, I ran the 100, I ran the anchor on the 400 relay, I threw the shot put, and I had the school record in pole vault. I went to state in the discus. Okay? All right? So that is what they looked at. And then when they came to track meets, that's what a lot of people saw me, is that the track meets is me winning 100 meters and then going over there and winning the shot put or winning the discus. That is what it was. And so when you get caught up in position, you are limiting yourself. Don't limit yourself. Open yourself up. Make everyone notice you, especially coming from a small school or small town. Make others notice you. The way I got noticed for the very beginning is when I set that world record in weightlifting. That's when everybody was like, who is this guy in Ashtabula?
And what are they feeding him?
Yeah. So you know what happened? How I started getting recruited was the other schools always brought their whole team to these weightlifting competitions. When I came, I was always by myself. It was either me by myself or with the head coach, football coach, or one or two other guys. That's it. And I would go and I would win. I would win the competitions. And when I did the deadlift, I did 600 pounds. I weighed 198. It was a world record for age. I was only 16 at the time. 16. So it was 18 and under world record. And the next highest weight that person did was 475. I did 600, and the next weight. So that got a whole lot of talk. They was like, who is this guy? And that's where, and then when they started looking and say, oh, he does this, he does this, he does this. So they started looking at this athlete. If you want to be noticed, you have to stand out. And that stand out for the right reason, not the wrong one. Not because you want to play this position and the coach don't like you, or he won't let me play. But I don't want to hear that. You got to be on the field. If you can play at another position, get on the field and be a player. Get noticed from your play, not from your mouth.
It's so true. It's so very, very true. It's so true. But you know what, Jarrod? Let's talk a little bit about the camp because I don't want to. I don't want to miss that for these kids. Now on Saturday, the 24th, right there at the beautiful Geneva Spire, and that's another place out here in Ashtabula. When you talk about just world class facilities, I mean, these are things that don't exist everywhere. It is truly a gift to have that right here. And let's get this brought up right now. The Jarrod Bunch Youth Camp going to be right there at the Spire, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, you can register on the day, but it is heavily emphasized. You should register before. Now, as you can see from what's been going on during this whole interview, we've had that link going across the bottom. That's where you're going to set up your USA Football account. You register, get registered for the camp. We're going to have that on all the social medias this week as well. Get registered, get out there and get better every day. When you are at this age group, the young kids, this is when you are going to pick up the most. This is when you're going to be able to get better so much faster than you are as you begin to age, excuse me. So go out there. Every day not spent getting better is a day wasted. And Jarrod Bunch is coming back. This is a guy who has won at the, high school, college, midget league, NFL level. This is a guy who's done it. And there's no better way to tell you how to get there than somebody who's already been there. Jarrod, I know I'm going on and on. I want you to talk a little bit about the camp.
Look, the camp is something that I started back in 1992. It was after I was drafted in the first round by New York Giants in 1991. And after my rookie year, I came back and started this camp. I started the camp because I remember playing in midget league football, and Lyle Alzado at the time was playing for the Cleveland Browns. He came to one of the assemblies or banquets for midget league football. He talked to us. I asked him a question. He looked directly at me and gave me an answer. And it's something that has stuck with me to this day. And so I think that being a former professional athlete, coming from the hometown of Ashtabula, I try to give that same inspiration to somebody who's playing in little league, midget league football, or whatever, from that young age, and playing in the sport and getting some of the fundamentals that can lead you to a lot of things, not just in football. So that's what I really harp on and try to emphasize is using the fundamentals of football and putting them in your life and letting it help you from age 7 all the way up.
And, one of the things I think that's worth talking about on this camp is the cost. This is a completely free opportunity for young football players, for young athletes to get better. We talk about some of the hurdles that come from being from a small town, and cost is always one of them. Everybody's got a different set of bills, and everybody's got their bills in different statuses. But this is one time where it's not going to matter. This is a free opportunity to come out and get better.
I'm glad you said that. It is free. It's free to you, free to all of you, right? But it's not free to me. It's not free to me. I've tried to partner with as many people or businesses as I can to make it as good as it can get. I don't get Spire free. I have to pay for that. I don't get the equipment free. I have to pay for that. That's why I partner with USA Football. I saw last, I put up, there's a GoFundMe that you guys, you'll be able to share. I saw some people commenting on there. Listen, you see the stories about professional athletes and former professional athletes. You see it. I'm not trying to be like them. You know what I mean? And that's being for real. Like everybody else. You see, here's the thing. Lamar Hamlin from the Buffalo Bills, who got injured. Really, his heart stopped on the field, right? And you saw he has a camp. He's a current player. He has a camp every year, and he has a GoFundMe. Now, before that injury happened, the occurrence happened on the field, he was only looking for $5,000. He had about $1,200 raised. He's still playing. After that injury, you know how much money he's raised?
Probably more than his sign-on bonus.
Yeah. He's, the last time I looked, it was like $8 million.
Oh.
Yeah, $8 million. Million. But my point is, here's a current player who has a GoFundMe. So everybody looking at the wrong thing. Don't look at why is this one putting up a GoFundMe. The point is, this is for the community where you live. I don't live there. I have here. I'm just saying, I'm paying for it out of my pocket, but you can be a partner by giving. If you don't want to give, you ain't giving to me. You are giving to the camp. You are giving to make more things come. One year, I was able to purchase 100 pairs of spikes for everyone. Okay, I'm trying to do it every year. I know how I was at that time, at that age, and when a coach told something to me or gave me something, how important it was. That's what I'm trying to continue to do. Please be a partner. You know, I mean, I don't have any children there. I don't have any children, right? So.
Yeah, this is an opportunity. You know, one of the best, we always talk about, how do you make things better? How do you provide the best opportunities? You know, time, you know, there ain't too many, business owners and everything that are still got a shot at the NFL, but you could provide an opportunity to give a kid, not just the NFL, not just college, not just, playing football, but just an opportunity to be better. This is how you invest in the youth, and you're going to invest in the future. And that's what this is, an opportunity, is to invest in the future. So we will make sure that GoFundMe gets out there and it gets pushed. This is, like he said, it's free to you, but it's not free to have. There's no such thing as a free lunch. So, the lunch is going to be paid for somewhere. But the beautiful thing about this is that for the kids and the direct benefactors, it's going to be free for you guys. So there's absolutely no excuse. Get out there, get better. If you don't know if you like football, go out there, get better. You never know what you're going to love until you try it.
Yeah. And there are a couple people I would like to thank. I mean, so there are businesses that have done every year. This is consistently, this is like the 10th year coming up. But we started in 92, we stopped for a while. 11th year. And we've had some people who have Duke Rose Funeral Home. They have been almost every year. They've worked with us. Star Beacon has worked with us all the time. Sandage, S&B Flooring, they've worked with us every year. I don't want to start saying names and forget, but but my church, a couple of churches that are in Ashtabula, they've worked. So I want to say that I have had businesses that have been with me for more than 5 years. That thank you for stepping up. And you always hear, oh, this guy, he's a professional athlete. When's he going to get back? Okay, you give back too. Everybody gives back.
That's right. It's the ability to give back does not have to do with how much you've done so far. Everybody's got a shot at it, but you know what? It's definitely something that's noticed, and it's something that's appreciated. Jarrod, you've played in the NFL, playing high-level college football as well, and that's not always the case. There are a lot of times where guys don't give back for whatever reason, but you're taking the time to give back. You understand the importance of giving back to the youth, and it's something that I cannot tell you how much I respect. I've always respected you as a man, as a player, as somebody, an idol, an Ashtabula idol, somebody for people to look to. You fall under, I graduated in 2005, so I was a little kid when you guys were playing, but you guys were like superheroes. That's why this is one of those times, I've gotten the blessing to be able to interview guys like you, guys like Matt, guys like Sean, the guys that when I was the age group that's going to be at this camp, we're superstars to me. So it's really just a blessing for you to come back and, you know, not only do the show, but give back every year. It's just a great thing.
I have to say that I remember last year, some of the coaches that I had with me, they actually were in either one or two of the camps in 92 or 93 or 94. So they were participants of the camp. And now last year they were actually coaching. Last year, the year before, and the year before. And so the last 3 years, we've had actual participants of the camp growing up and now coming back and being coaches in the camp. So that was a good thing to see them and hear them give their take on being a participant years ago, and now it's still being around and they're being coaches.
That's an awesome story. And what that is that is the seeds of a culture change, because success comes from good culture, and culture, whether it's good or bad, can always be improved on. And that's what you're doing. So I just want to take this time, everybody, the Jarrod Bunch camp, it's going to be on Saturday again, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. There is no excuses. Get out there. It's a free camp. Get your kid registered. Give your kids these opportunities. You never know what could be unlocked there. Again, we've got the link going below right now. We're going to share the link. There's going to be a GoFundMe if you want to help out with this as well. Jarrod, let me just take this time one more time to thank you so much for coming on the show. It was really a blast. You know what? I got to make this a more regular thing. We've got some big time football happening out here, and I love to hear football from people who love football. So let's do this again very, very soon.
Yeah, and so that I'm looking at the scroll of the account. So if that's too much to put in there, they can just go to USA Football and then look for camps. So click on camps. So you go to USA Football, click on camps, and then look for. You can put my name in. They'll say, where are you looking for a camp? You can put Jarrod Bunch, or put in Ohio, and then Ohio, put Jarrod Bunch. So just go to USA Football, look for camps, and then put in the information of Jarrod Bunch.
All right. As easy as that. It's easy. We'll make sure we get that link sent out there, the USA Football link. That way you guys can all find it. To all the parents watching, to all the youth watching, let's make this as big as it's ever been and make sure that we can keep this going for years to come. Jarrod Bunch, thanks so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure. See you Saturday.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com.
Going from mindful.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining here. Special edition of the 440 Sports Show. Sam Torres here. So I just want to get a couple things out before we end today's show. Obviously, a big thank you, huge thank you to Jarrod Bunch for coming on the show today, talking about his camp that's coming up on Saturday. And let me tell you what, guys, if Saturday comes and you feel like you don't have anything to do, then you are not looking, because the amount of events that are going on this Saturday, June 24th, right within Ashtabula County, are numerous, and there's a lot of great stuff going on. Starting off with the Jarrod Bunch camp. That's going to be starting right there at 9 o'clock in the morning. Pre-registration, you can get there. You can walk up and register between 7:30 and 8:45. Another thing you can do is actually, let me get this shared. Here we go. You can head over to USA Football. Head over to USA Football and get registered right there at USA Football. I know walk-up registration is a lot easier for people, but, pre-registration is very helpful for the people running the camps. As somebody who does these things from time to time, I know the importance of getting pre-registered. We want everybody to get out there, but please, if you can, try and get pre-registered. This one is actually on the Spire Institute website. There's a place to register right there online. And then also you can go right here to USAFootball.com. You create your free account, look for the Jarrod Bunch camp right here in Ohio, and then get registered there. And again, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., that's, the best football is getting played right there at the Spire. The Spire is one of those things that we're truly blessed to have here in this area. It's a world-class facility on so many different levels. And Jarrod Bunch, a local product who made it all the way to the NFL, got to play in a Super Bowl, played at the University of Michigan. I mean, it's he really, when it comes to, reaching the top of the mountain, he's right there. And then there's no better people to learn from. He understands all the sacrifices that have to be that need to happen on that way. You're going to get a lot of great advice on Saturday. So make sure you're getting there. Saturday, June 24th, and there are so many things going on. Let's bring up a couple others that are going to be happening, because we've got another interview that's going to happen this week as well. It's funny, as soon as I said this show wasn't going to go daily, now we're getting all kinds of content. So Jarrod Bunch, the Jarrod Bunch camp, going to be happening on Saturday. Also happening on Saturday, you're going to have the second annual Emilio Parks Hoops Classic. That's starting at June 24th. For all you hoopers, you want to get out there. That's starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. Going to run right till about 2 or 3 o'clock. Bring your own team. It's going to be high-level basketball indoor at beautiful Lakeside High School. I'm going to be trying to bounce to all these events, so you'll get little pictures and tidbits from each one for sure. But you want to get out there and see it. This is going to be fun. This is high-level basketball happening right here in Ashtabula County. People from all over the place coming. Emilio Parks, obviously, an international professional basketball player. This man has played in Indonesia and Mexico, Argentina, Puerto Rico. He's played in, I think he played some time in Greece. There's a lot. I mean, put it this way. His passport has a lot of stamps in it. Coming back to Ashtabula, though, bringing that love of the game back here and just providing some more opportunities for people to get out there and play some basketball. I'm really looking forward to this one. And then 7 o'clock at Scene Park is going to be the 2023 YSN All-Star Game. This one's going to be a great one also. We've got representation from right here in the county getting out there. YSN, the umbrella of YSN, which includes well over 60 schools. We get the pick of the litter. We get the best of the best. You're going to see some of the best baseball players in Northeast Ohio, all on one field competing against each other. This is going to be a great event. It's one you're not going to want to miss at all. So 7 o'clock, Scene Park. If you can't make it there, obviously it's going to be streamed right here on YSN, and that's going to be a fun one. I'll definitely be there. I'll be there selling 50-50. So if you want to see me, pushing the tickets, come on down. Get down to Scene Park. It's a beautiful park. I'm looking forward to getting down there. A lot of great baseball going to happen down there. There's some familiar names that are going to be on the field that day. And then the following Wednesday is going to be the softball game, which is jam-packed, let me tell you. So that is Saturday night. So, yeah, I just wanted to I'm going to take this time to talk a little bit before we end the show. Jarrod Bunch and this youth football camp. Putting the focus in on the youth and why I think that matters so much. It it's something that's not always easy. And I want to send kudos out to all these coaches that are going out there and putting in the work, that are going out there and spending these timeless hours, the never-ending hours, trying to develop young men, young women, whoever is participating in football, into learning a sport that's not very easy to take on. My former co-host, my former 440 cohort, and my best friend in the world, Ryan, I got to give him a huge kudos, for what they're doing over there at St. John. They have a big golf outing this weekend to try and get things set up for, the inaugural year of St. John youth football. Now, youth football is not something that's new to this area. You've got people like Kevin Crockett, who have, basically not single-handedly, I guess, but when it came to the beginning, he was the visionary, to get that Lakeside program off the ground and turn it into what it is now, which is an annual, contender, an annual team, with great numbers. Buckeye doing a great job over there, Jefferson doing a great job over there. But what it comes down to is, you got to establish this love for football when they're young. I talked a little bit about that when Jarrod was on. If these kids don't get the fundamentals, by the time you're in junior high, if you're just learning to play football, I mean, it's not impossible, but you are 100% against the 8 ball, and I would be willing to bet, if you look at the successful programs in Northeast Ohio and Ohio in the country, when you look at the Chardons, the South Ranges, the Canfields, the Kirtlands, when you look at the Perrys, these teams that either win state championships every year or compete for state championships every year, I would be willing to bet dollars to donuts that their youth program is well organized and on the same vision path. It's something that you love to see. And with guys like Jarrod Bunch coming out here and providing, these are lessons that these kids may, in other areas don't get. It's an opportunity. We always talk about what is lacking. I think we like to focus on the things we don't have. Maybe Ashtabula does not have a Mondo Stadium, or they don't have, a population of 25,000. And this isn't just Ashtabula. I mean, this can apply to any smaller county, rural county, Columbiana, Mahone, well, not Mahoning, but they're big. But, I think people tend to focus on what we don't have instead of putting some focus and working on what we do have. And what we do have is a lot of people who care enough to come back and provide these opportunities. The question is, are we going to start utilizing them? Jarrod Bunch has been doing this since 1992. Now, granted, there was a little bit of a layoff there in the middle as his career had taken other turns. But as it's come back and now it's starting to get established again, I think this is something that we got to support. We got to get our kids out there. We have to show them that not only do people care, but there's a way. This is a guy that played in the best conference in football in the Big Ten. This is a guy who went to the NFL, got to play in a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Coming from a very small school in Ashtabula High School. He there's no need to strike a new path if there's already somebody who's helped you out by patterning it down. Use the blueprint. Use the lessons. And if you have to have your own path, that's okay too. But at least understand and learn from what they did. There is no great no reason to be proud of making the same mistakes that other people made because you could have avoided them. When people are providing you these informations, these opportunities, that's what you got to do. And as a parent, I think your number one thing has to be, am I putting my kid in the best position? Am I getting them the best chance? And as an athlete, whether your parents can be there or not, and there are a lot of great parents out there, and sometimes parenting is different from different households. But if you're an athlete, you got to take personal accountability too. Am I getting there? Am I doing the work? Am I creating my own opportunities even if I don't recognize the opportunities that are coming to me? It's one of the things that we've seen. There are a lot of people who are giving back. It's one of the things I've heard. I heard it for years and years and years. You know what I mean? People get successful out of Ashtabula, leave, and never come back. Well, guess what? That times have changed. That is no longer the case. People are coming back, and we're giving back, and they're giving back. And it's time to build up. It's time to understand and recognize this generosity, and it's time to support. It's time to support these people who are supporting our kids. You know, if there ain't no hope for the youth, then there ain't no hope for the future. We got to take care of these kids. We got to start doing these things and making sure they're as big as they are. Make it a destination. Make this an annual deal. This is one of the things I've tried to set up and start and get going with the Combine. It's one of the reasons why I'm so proud that this year, the Combine, and I don't know how many are going to come, but what I can tell you is I sent a ton of invitations to all the teams underneath the YSN umbrella. If one team from the Youngstown, Warren, Mahoney, Columbiana team area comes, better. If they all come, even better. Because at some point or another, this camp is going to be the one you're going to look to. We're a part of something big right now, and I'm appreciative of all of you for standing by on the journey, for all the support throughout this time, and I'm going to ask for your continued support. This is awesome. We are coming upon my favorite part of the year. It's almost football season. I can taste it. I can feel the leather. It's coming upon. So that's what's going on this Saturday. Make sure you guys get there. There's going to be links all over the place. You're going to have tons and tons of graphics going. And actually, my final thought before I go, I do want to say this, because I didn't have a show on Monday. I do want to say, this weekend we celebrated Father's Day, and me being a father myself, I know how important that day is. It's of all the jobs I have, of all the hats that I wear, being a father is the most important one to me. It's the one that I think is the most difficult. It's the one that never stops evolving. It's the one you always start to try and get better at being. I was truly blessed in that the father that I have, the guy that raised me, my father, Julio Torres, was the guy who had to be my dad because there was nobody else who was going to do it better. That guy is the reason why I have the confidence to do what I'm doing today. And for that, I am forever thankful to my dad. And I say all that to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Just remember, and this is something I try to be cognizant of as well, myself, all your actions are going to be imprinted on your children, good, bad, or indifferent. So always do your best to be your best because they deserve the best. So just wanted to get that out there before we go. I want to remind everybody that this week we're going to have 2 shows. Emilio Parks is going to sit down with me. We'll have his interview on Friday coming out talking about the Emilio Parks Classic. So I'm really, really excited about that one. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this morning. I will see you guys very, very soon. This is Sam Torres, and this is for the 440.
This for the fofo. This for the fofo. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the fofo, and that go.
Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmetto Valley. We from the fofo chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewell got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating no dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'.
And they really bout it, yeah.
And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and kinda got flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number 1 in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.